A game standing on a knife edge from the studio that fucks up, fixes up, but never gives up. Today I want to talk about Neverness to Everness. What it is, what it's trying to do differently, how it plays, and where its monetization appears to be heading, and whether this game is shaping up to be something genuinely special or another ambitious project that trips over its own system. Neverness to Everness is an open world urban action RPG developed by Horta Studio, published under Perfect World Games. It's being built in Unreal 5 engine and it's already gone through closed testing in China with limited regions test and an upcoming coax demo version that is speculated to be released around end of January or early Feb, and even a confirmed presence at major industry showcases. That alone tells us something important, that this isn't a quiet side project. This is a large scale, cross platform live service push from a studio and a publisher with real money, real ambitions, and real expectations behind it. And that context matter because NTE doesn't exist in a vacuum. Hotter Studio aren't new to this space. Their previous title, Tower of Fantasy, was an ambitious attempt to blend open world exploration with gacha system at scale. It launched with big ideas but had a very rocky live service life cycle. For the last few years, Tower of Fantasy has faced criticism over balance issues, technical problems, monetization decisions, and uneven live support. It also picked up a long-lasting reputation problem, one that still follows the studio even today. That history matters, but not in a purely negative way. It means Horta has already experienced public backlash, rushed hot fixes, and community distrust, and the consequences of a poor live ops pacing. It also means that they have had years to observe what worked, what failed, and what players will no longer tolerate. So when we evaluate Neverness to Everness, we are not judging a brand new studio with no track record. We are judging a team with proven ambition, visible missteps, and a chance to show whether they actually learned from them. Neverness to Everness takes place in Hathiru, a modern city where everyday urban life coexists with supernatural anomalies. You play as an appraiser, someone tasked with investigating, evaluating, and resolving these anomalies. Your home base is a small antique shop called Iban, which functions as both a narrative anchor and a quest hub. From there, you take commissions, story missions, and investigations that gradually pull you deeper into the city's hidden layers. The core loop blends open world exploration, investigation style quest, anomaly containment, and party-based combat. Characters wield unique Asper abilities that influences both combat and traversal at the same time, pushing the game towards synergy-driven gameplay rather than a simple solo power scaling. At a glance, NTE looks like a fusion of action RPG mechanics and character-focused system, with the city itself acting as a living playground rather than a static backdrop. One of the most promising aspects of NTE so far is its focus on movement. Traversal isn't just sprinting between markers, you're climbing buildings, parkouring across rooftops, gliding through city blocks, driving customizable vehicles, and using abilities-based tools to reach new areas. Exploration appears mechanical, meaning who you bring and what you equip directly affects how you can go, just like TOF. There are also hints of vehicle customization, housing or base system, and equipment-driven traversal progression. And that's important because many open-world RPGs looks impressive but fail to make exploration meaningful. And if NTE truly rewards curiosity with systems, secrets, and progression, and not just collectibles, it significantly raises the game's long-term appeal. Early footage suggests Horta is trying to make exploration functional rather than decorative. Whether that design philosophy holds up past the early hours remains to be seen. Combat in NTE is clearly action oriented. What we have seen so far shows weighty attacks, ability chaining, and a heavy emphasis on party synergy through Esper's abilities. That's encouraging, especially in a genre where shallow auto combat is still far too common. But flashy combat alone doesn't carry a live service RPG. Action systems only stay engaging if enemy designs, encounter varieties, and build diversity evolve alongside players' power. If enemy becomes health sponges or encounters repeat with minor variation, the combat will hit its peak really quickly and people will get bored. The potential is there. Environmental interaction, encounter modifiers, and meaningful skill baselines could make combat a long-term strength. Unreal 5 engine can deliver visual impact, but encounter designs and balance will decide whether the combat stays fun beyond the honeymoon phase. This is where Neverness to Everness becomes genuinely interesting. Based on current test information, NT is not using a traditional gacha structure where you pull and risk losing 50-50 to an off-banner character. Instead, it uses a board system often compared to a dice-driven progression where each pull advances you towards guaranteed rewards. Here's what we know. There's roughly a 1.8 to 1.9% base chance to obtain a S-class character per pull. After 70 pulls, the soft cap is activated, and by 90 pull, S-class is guaranteed. Most importantly, there is no 50-50 loss, on featured characters at least. If you hit an S-class on a limited board, it will be the featured unit. That is meaningful structural change compared to the genre standards. Fewer surprise losses, clear progression, and less frustration when chasing a specific character. There are also indications that weapon or arcs won't dominate the monetization structure in the same way as in the other gacha games, with some powerful options potentially obtainable through gameplay or alternative currencies. However, none of this actually means the system is generous. The real questions are still unanswered. How many pulls will players earn naturally between the updates? How fast the power creep occur? Will new characters invalidate old ones? And how aggressively will cosmetics, convenience items, or time-limited offers be pushed? Horta appears to be making a genuine attempt to balance revenue and players' goodwill. But trust will ultimately decide by how this economy feels in live service itself, not how it looks to appear on paper. Multiplayer, live ops, and long-term health. Neverness to Everness has teased multiplayer elements and shared content, which means its success won't be decided at launch. It will be decided months later. The long-term health of any open-world game depends on three things: meaningful updates, fair progression pacing, and fast and honest developer communication. Horta learned with Tower of Fantasy that massive ideas means nothing without strong live operations. Perfect World stepping in to restructure publishing support for TOF suggests those lessons were taken seriously. If that same operational discipline carries into NTE with faster hotfixes, clearer roadmaps, and better event pacing, the game has real potential to thrive. If not, even a strong launch won't save its life. The green flags. Combat systems that reward skill and synergy. Exploration that ties into progression. A gacha system that reduces frustration. Transparent live service communication. Monetization leaning towards cosmetics and convenience. But that is hopeful. Red flags. Pay to win power spikes, rapid character invalidation, repetitive enemies, and shallow build qualities, defensive or slow responses to major issues, and aggressive time-limited monetization pressure. If NTE hits more of the first list than the second list, it could genuinely shift expectation for an open-world gacha game. If not, it risks becoming another impressive launch followed by a gradual decline. Neverness to Everness sits on a knife edge, as I said before. The technology, scope, and ambition gives it enormous upside. At the same time, Horta Studios' past serves as both a warning and a reason for cautious optimism. They can build something big. The question is whether they will choose the right path or the wrong path. So far now, I'm hopeful, but yet skeptical. I'll be watching the upcoming test closely and hopefully I get access to it. Yeah, that's about it, I guess, guys. It's your boy Gaia. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.